Sasha was not just any cat. She was a Siamese, with sleek, creamy fur and eyes that gleamed like sapphire gems. From the moment she was born, she knew she was destined for something special. In the small apartment where she grew up, Sasha was a star. Her energy was contagious, and her beauty was undeniable. People often found themselves entranced by her exotic look, those almond-shaped eyes that seemed to see through you, to understand you on a deeper level. Her owner, Emma, had adopted her when she was just a kitten. Emma was a young artist, living in a bustling city filled with creativity and chaos. She didn't know much about cats at first, but something about Sasha's quiet presence made her feel at peace. The two of them quickly formed a bond that felt more like friendship than ownership. Sasha would curl up on Emma's lap as she painted, purring contentedly, watching with interest as colors came to life on the canvas. It was as though Sasha understood the magic of creating something from nothing, and she seemed to appreciate Emma's art in her own unique way. As the months turned into years, Sasha's life was filled with playful adventures, cozy naps in the sun, and endless affection. But like all good things, those years were not to last forever. Emma began to notice small changes in Sasha's behavior that seemed out of character. The playful, energetic cat she once knew had become a little slower, a little less engaged. At first, it seemed insignificant. After all, cats could be unpredictable creatures. But over time, Emma couldn't ignore the signs. Sasha had begun drinking more water than usual. She wasn't eating as much, and when she did, it seemed like she wasn't finishing her meals. Emma tried to dismiss her concerns. After all, Sasha was still a young cat. She didn't think it could be anything serious. But the changes continued. Sasha became thinner, her once lustrous coat began to lose its sheen, and she seemed more tired. Emma took her to the vet, hoping for some reassurance. The vet, a kind woman named Dr. Simmons, ran a few tests. The diagnosis was a blow to both Emma and Sasha: chronic kidney disease. It was a condition that often went unnoticed until it was too late, and it explained everything. The excessive drinking, the lack of appetite, the weight loss, symptoms of the kidneys slowly losing their ability to filter waste from the blood. The news was devastating, but Sasha wasn't just any cat, and Emma wasn't just any owner. They were a team. Dr. Simmons reassured Emma that with proper care, Sasha could still live a comfortable life. She wasn't giving up, and neither was Emma. They were in this together. Emma took it upon herself to learn everything she could about kidney disease in cats. She read books, researched online, and talked to experts. What she discovered gave her a glimmer of hope. There were diets, treatments, and lifestyle changes that could slow the progression of the disease. Sasha wasn't finished yet, not by a long shot. But there was still one thing Emma couldn't quite shake. How had this happened? How had a cat like Sasha, so full of life, ended up with such a serious condition? Emma couldn't help but think back to the earlier days, before the diagnosis. Was there something she could have done differently? That's when the memory came flooding back, the night Sasha had first arrived at her home. She had been so small, so fragile. Emma had bought her the best food, the best toys, and the most comfortable bed. But she hadn't known about the importance of a proper diet for kidney health back then. Perhaps that was the missing piece. As the weeks passed, Emma made changes. Sasha's diet was carefully adjusted, with food tailored to her specific needs. She began taking medication, and Emma made sure to monitor her water intake closely. Though Sasha wasn't as playful as before, she still had her moments. She still curled up on Emma's lap while she painted, her purrs resonating through the room. But every so often, Emma would catch herself staring at Sasha, wondering what the future held. Was there a cure for kidney disease? Could Sasha live many more years, or was time running out? The uncertainty gnawed at her, but one thing was for sure: Emma would do whatever it took to give Sasha the best life she could. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of their journey together. There would be challenges ahead, but there would also be moments of pure joy. Sasha had a fight left in her, and Emma was ready to fight right alongside her. The road ahead would not be easy, but it would be theirs to navigate together. And so, as the first signs of spring began to creep through the city, Emma and Sasha settled into their new routine. Life was different now, but it was still full of love. But as Emma would soon discover, the journey to keep Sasha healthy and happy was far from over, and the best was yet to come. As weeks turned into months, Emma's dedication to Sasha's well-being became an everyday ritual. The adjustments to Sasha's diet were the first major hurdle. Finding the right food that balanced taste with the nutritional needs for her kidneys took trial and error. Sasha, ever the finicky Siamese, was not one to easily accept change. She sniffed at the new food with disdain, flicking her tail in displeasure as she paced around the bowl. Emma would sit beside her, gently coaxing her, offering treats, and making soft, encouraging sounds. "Come on, Sasha. You have to try it, sweetheart," Emma would whisper. It wasn't always easy, but gradually, Sasha started to eat more. Each small victory felt like a triumph, and Emma's heart swelled with pride every time Sasha finished her meal. There were still days when she turned up her nose, but Emma never lost hope. They were in this together, after all. However, the hardest part was managing Sasha's health day by day. Chronic kidney disease was a silent, insidious condition. It didn't announce its progress loudly. Every time Sasha seemed to perk up, Emma was reminded that the disease was still there, lurking in the background. Regular vet visits became a constant, each one both reassuring and terrifying. Dr. Simmons, with her calm demeanor, was a steady presence in their lives. Sasha's blood work showed small improvements, nothing dramatic, but enough to keep hope alive. "She's doing well," Dr. Simmons would say, her voice warm but measured. "It's a long road, but with this care, Sasha can live a good life. She may not be the same as she was, but she'll still have plenty of happy moments." But it wasn't just the food or the medicine. It was the constant vigilance, the attention to detail, that really made a difference. Sasha's water intake had to be monitored closely. Emma began adding wet food to Sasha's diet to increase her hydration, knowing that the more Sasha drank, the better it would be for her kidneys. Every morning, Emma would make sure Sasha had fresh water, and every evening, she'd refill the bowl again. Some days, it felt like a small chore, one more thing to remember, but Emma never let her guard down. She couldn't afford to. Still, the disease was always there in the back of her mind, like a shadow that wouldn't leave. And just when Emma began to feel like she had a handle on things, a new challenge arose. One evening, as Emma was painting in her studio, she noticed Sasha behaving strangely. Sasha was laying in her favorite sunspot, but she wasn't purring. She wasn't even blinking contentedly in the warmth of the sunlight. Instead, Sasha was just staring off into space, her eyes unfocused. Emma immediately put down her paintbrush and rushed over. "Sasha?" Emma's voice trembled. "What's wrong, girl?" Sasha didn't respond to her name. Emma knelt beside her and gently stroked her back, but the cat didn't flinch. It was as if she were in a trance. A surge of panic rose in Emma's chest. Had something gone terribly wrong? Was it a complication from the kidney disease? She'd read about the dangers of kidney failure, about how the disease could lead to seizures or other life-threatening symptoms. Without wasting another second, Emma scooped Sasha into her arms and rushed her to the emergency vet. The journey felt like an eternity, and every moment of uncertainty ate at her resolve. Sasha, usually so alert, now seemed distant and weak. Emma couldn't help but feel the crushing weight of worry pressing down on her chest. At the clinic, the vet staff quickly took Sasha for an examination. After what felt like hours, they returned with a diagnosis that left Emma both relieved and drained. Sasha had suffered a mild dehydration episode, a common problem for cats with kidney disease. The body's inability to retain fluid had caused her to go into a state of lethargy. Thankfully, Sasha hadn't suffered any severe damage. After receiving fluids and a thorough checkup, the vet assured Emma that Sasha would recover with some extra hydration and rest. As the days passed, Sasha began to show signs of improvement. She regained her strength, and the familiar spark returned to her eyes. Emma was grateful, but the experience left her shaken. This was a reminder of how fragile Sasha's health was, and how quickly things could change. To prevent another scare, Emma became even more diligent about keeping Sasha hydrated. She set up several water stations around the apartment, hoping to make drinking easier for her. Sasha was still a picky drinker, but with the extra attention, she started to drink more regularly. Emma felt a sense of accomplishment whenever Sasha lapped up water from her favorite bowl, but the weight of the disease was always there, lingering just beneath the surface. Despite the setbacks, there were moments of pure joy. Sasha would still jump up on the windowsill in the mornings, watching the world go by with an air of quiet dignity. Her eyes sparkled as she observed birds flitting through the trees, her tail flicking with mild interest. Sometimes, she would climb onto Emma's lap as she painted, settling herself down and purring as if nothing in the world could be wrong. It was in these quiet moments that Emma realized how much she cherished their time together. The uncertainty of the future, the never-ending vigilance, it all faded away when Sasha was near. Even though life had changed, there was still so much beauty in their bond. Sasha had a way of reminding Emma that happiness could still be found in the little things, the shared moments, the simple pleasures. And then, just when Emma thought things were settling down, there was another turn in the road. As the months passed, Sasha and Emma settled into a rhythm. The worry about Sasha's condition never quite disappeared, it lingered like a faint hum in the background of their lives, but there was something profoundly comforting in the routine they had built together. They had found a way to live, to adapt. Emma made it her mission to ensure that Sasha felt loved and safe, no matter what. In return, Sasha offered her the quiet companionship she had always cherished, a reminder that the present was all that truly mattered. But even in the midst of their peaceful routine, Emma never stopped learning. Every new development in Sasha's health, every challenge they faced, opened her eyes to a new level of resilience, both in Sasha and herself. Sasha had become more than just a cat to Emma. She had become a reminder that life, though fleeting, could be beautiful even in the face of hardship. Sasha's ability to still purr, still climb into Emma's lap, still watch the birds with fascination despite the looming presence of kidney disease, it was nothing short of miraculous. The next challenge arrived quietly, as it often did with Sasha. One evening, Emma noticed something she hadn't seen before, a small lump near Sasha's side. It was subtle at first, just a slight bump that could easily have been overlooked. But Emma's keen eye noticed it right away. She ran her fingers over the area, her heart sinking as she realized the lump was firm and didn't seem to move. It wasn't typical for a cat's body to develop such a thing without cause. Panicked, Emma immediately scheduled a vet appointment. Dr. Simmons, ever calm and reassuring, performed an examination, and once again, Emma felt the cold hand of fear clench her heart. The lump, though not immediately concerning, needed further investigation. There were many possibilities, nothing definitive yet, but it could have been a result of the kidney disease, or it could be something entirely separate. Sasha's immune system, weakened by the ongoing battle with kidney disease, might have been struggling to fight off other issues as well. Once more, they were faced with uncertainty. The vet suggested a biopsy to determine the nature of the lump, but Emma hesitated. Every decision had become a weighing of risks and rewards. What would this mean for Sasha's quality of life? Would this be another long road of tests and treatments? Sasha had already endured so much. Emma didn't want to push her further if it wasn't necessary. In the end, Emma made the decision to wait, to monitor the lump carefully for any changes. It was a risk, but it was also a way to respect Sasha's comfort. It was a hard choice, but Emma knew that she couldn't let her own fears take over. Sasha's body had already endured so much, and Emma didn't want to add more stress to an already fragile existence unless absolutely necessary. The decision was made not out of avoidance, but from a place of love, a desire to preserve Sasha's peace and dignity. As time passed, the lump remained the same size, never growing or changing. Emma carefully watched it, tracking any signs of discomfort, but Sasha showed no signs of distress. The days were still filled with quiet moments, Sasha curling up beside Emma as she painted, their shared moments of stillness providing comfort to both of them. Then, one autumn evening, something remarkable happened. Sasha, who had been less energetic in recent months, suddenly sprang to her feet. She darted across the room, her tail high, her eyes alight with a renewed sense of vitality. For a brief moment, she was the playful, inquisitive cat Emma had first brought home years ago. Sasha leapt onto the windowsill, her lithe body moving with grace, and began to paw at the glass as a squirrel darted across the yard. Emma laughed, the sound ringing out in the empty room. Sasha was, for the first time in a long while, acting like herself, like the cat Emma had known and loved for so long. It was an ordinary moment, but it felt extraordinary. In that moment, Emma realized that the key to Sasha's health, both physical and emotional, was more than just the right food or medication. It was the love, the joy, the companionship they shared. Even in the face of illness, even with the uncertainty of the future, Sasha was still living, truly living. And so was Emma. Days turned into weeks, and Sasha's spirit remained strong. The kidney disease was still there, quietly progressing, but it no longer felt like a dark cloud hanging over their heads. The journey had been difficult, filled with moments of fear and uncertainty, but they had weathered it together. Sasha had lived far longer than Emma had feared she would, and through it all, she had remained a source of light in Emma's life. Eventually, the time did come when Sasha's health began to decline. The disease had taken its toll, and Sasha's body began to weaken. Emma knew that the day would come, but it didn't make it any easier. In her final days, Sasha was still her sweet, gentle self. She had moments of quiet joy, still finding comfort in the familiar routines of their life. And when the time came for Sasha to say goodbye, Emma was there, holding her close, whispering words of love and gratitude. Sasha's passing left a hole in Emma's heart, a space that no one could ever fill. But what Emma knew, deep down, was that Sasha had given her a gift. The gift of time, the gift of resilience, the gift of love that transcended everything, even illness and hardship. Sasha had fought a silent battle every day, but she had done so with dignity, grace, and a quiet strength that would never be forgotten. Her legacy was not just in the memories of her beautiful eyes or her mischievous ways, but in the lessons she had taught Emma about life, love, and living in the moment. And so, Sasha's story did not end with her passing. It lived on in the heart of Emma, who had learned, through her cat's struggle, that love is the most powerful force in the world. It is timeless. It is boundless, and it is the one thing that can never be taken away.